The Mixed Martial Arts Championship is something more interesting than a film to watch, and a commentator is the one who adds up spice to any MMA championship event, right? Talking about the MMA commentators, we can never forget Joe Rogan, the UFC color commentator. Since 1997, Joe Rogan has been giving life to the MMA competitions through his words, and you might wonder whether Joe has also been part of those competitions. Is Joe Rogan's expertise only in MMA commentary? Come along with us till the end to find out the answers. Now let's start with 5 times when Joe Rogan astounded the MMA world. Number 5. The UFC lightweight bout between Frankie Edgar and Tyson Griffin is intriguing for several reasons. The future lightweight champion, Frankie Edgar, made his UFC debut, and the show was overall quite fantastic. It was a unanimous decision victory, and both men received an additional $50,000 for their bout of the night. But this fight will live on because of one particular comment made by Joe Rogan after observing the gigantic size of Tyson Griffin's legs. For Joe Rogan, Tyson looks like a guy who does 1,000 squats daily. Joe said that if Tyson Griffin was a girl, he would have what could be described as a badunkadunk. It was not only one of the strangest things you'll ever hear on a UFC broadcast, but it was without question one of the funniest. Tyson Griffin got some serious leg kicks. If he was a girl, you would say he has a badunkadunk. This guy got some thick legs, says Joe Rogan. Number 4. The UFC debut of Jon Jones will be remembered for several reasons. For one, it was the first time most of us had seen one of the future GOATs compete at the top level. On top of that, we saw hints of his athletic potential as he blasted Andre Guzman from pillar to pillar with various insane tactics. But more than the performance of Jon Jones in his debut, the bizarre commentary lines by Joe Rogan are what made the match a matter of discussion. Mike Goldberg introduced Jones and Guzman by the color of their shorts at the start of the fight, as he has done hundreds of times before. Joe opted to insert the word devil since it's easier to refer to Jones as the black guy and Guzman as the white guy. Overall, the moment was a hilarious shift from tradition, one that even Goldberg appeared surprised by. Joe isn't hesitant to ruffle a few feathers to make a point. In this case, his direct approach to calling it like he saw it provided us with one astounding moment in the MMA. So, what do you think about Joe Rogan's words? Didn't they cross the lines? Don't you think that remark as black would have hurt the sentiments of thousands of people? Shoot your views in the comments section. Number 3. Joe Rogan demonstrated why he is a legendary MMA analyst and commentator during Edson Barboza and Terry Ettman's lightweight match at UFC 142. Throughout the bout, Barboza dominated Edom, outstriking the British MMA fighter. On the other hand, Edom was attempting to hold on and push himself. Joe Rogan stated that Terry Edom, who had struggled throughout the fight but was still able to confront Edson Barboza, was in danger of being knocked out. His analysis was not only highly accurate, but it was also precisely timed. Barboza fired a heel kick and put Edom down cold as Rogan was about to conclude his sentence. Wow, that could be called a miracle. You know, a fighter runs into this sort of situation when you get into the 3rd round of a fight that you're losing but still hanging in there. And it really poses the question, what do you do? Do you want to take the chance and risk getting knocked out? Wow, I couldn't have timed that word knockout any better, said Joe. It was one of the best time forecasts in combat sports history, and it is the main reason Joe Rogan is admired in the MMA world. Number 2. Sometimes in the role of UFC commentator, you have to take a risk. You have to make decisions on the fly that will serve the broadcast well. And though there have been more than enough cases of Joe getting it wrong on UFC 222, Joe Rogan knocked it out. Sean O'Malley had a great 2-round performance against Andre Sukamthoth before a bizarre injury to his leg rendered him entirely crippled for the final round. O'Malley survived against all odds and was awarded a clear decision victory. Fighters in such pain are generally sent immediately to the hospital, but in a flash of brilliance, Rogan decided to interview Sean as he lay on the ground, suffering greatly from his fractured leg. What we got was one of the unique interviews you'll ever witness. Inside of it, I can feel it. It went numb and I couldn't even step on it. I think it was a question mark kick. It really hurt, and then taking this fight with me, another respect. I love this game. I love the talk. I love the media, and I love everything about this sport. And I fucking love you, Joe Rogan, says the injured Sean O'Malley. What do you feel about this interview? Was that interview more crucial than Sean's health, or are people only concerned about entertainment? Number 1. So this one isn't really stunning due to Joe Rogan alone, but the fact that he let it happen is what really pushed it to the top of our list. Joe once said he would no longer interview plainly concussed boxers following knockout losses. However, he does not always follow through on this. However, after Stripe Miocic successfully defended his UFC heavyweight title with a brutal knockout of Astounded Overeem, Joe decided it would be a good idea to interview the very puzzled Overeem. And this interview turned out to be one of the most awkward post-fighting interviews of all time. Astounded Overeem supposedly felt a tap from Stripe during a tight guillotine, and he latched onto it before his defeat. Though from the replays it was clear that there was no tap, Joe decided to press the issue, leading to an embarrassing moment for Overeem. Obviously, the fight did not go as you wanted. But you did have your moments in the fight. You had him hurt. At least it looked like you had him hurt. Give us your thoughts on what happened. Joe Rogan: I believe when I punched him, he went down. I followed him. I got him in a diligent choke, and I clearly felt a tap. The ref didn't see it. The ref didn't jump in, so the fight continued. In my opinion, he tapped, and it's a bummer. Astounded Overeem: We'll take a look at the whole thing in slow motion. Tell us when you see the tap. We'll take a look at it one more time from another angle and see if we can isolate it. Where do you see the tap? Joe Rogan: After Overeem demanded that Stripe tapped him, when asked by Joe Rogan, the replays proved that Overeem was wrong. Thus, Joe put Overeem in a position of embarrassment. We all know that Joe Rogan is among the most knowledgeable MMA specialists and has experience with a variety of martial arts, including jiu-jitsu. But what many fans didn't know is that Rogan is actually the owner of some of the most jaw-droppingly powerful kicks you'll ever see. Even the legendary Georges St. Pierre was completely astounded by the amount of power Joe could produce, describing his spinning back kick as the most potent he's ever seen. Joseph James Rogan, who was born on August 11, 1967, is also an American podcaster, comedian, actor, and former television host. He broadcasts the popular podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience, where he discusses current events, comedy, politics, philosophy, science, and hobbies with many guests. This great host and commentator received many honors for his contributions. In 2003, Joe was nominated for Teen Choice Award. Joe also received the MMA Personality of the Year award for the years 2011, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, and 2020. Last but not least, he was honored as the best television announcer for the years 2010 and 2011 by Wrestling Observer newsletter. Joe Rogan's net worth is estimated to be at $120 million as of December 2022, making him one of the world's wealthiest comedians. Well, that's a wrap. How would you rate these moments? Which moment did you find so iconic? Let us know your answers in the comment section below. If you found this video exciting and useful, do like the video. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell icon. We don't want you to miss our cool new videos. Until we meet again with new updates, goodbye.